be doing this at the front for that long, so it might be good. As long as you can see, we won't be here for very long, and we'll get some more seats. All right, you take it.
Hello? Hello, hello? One more. Ah. Everyone ready? We won't be that long doing this format, so if you haven't got the best space, don't worry too much. Sit your bum down. In other words. Come on, Ambrose. I'm going to get started. Welcome, everyone, to Tech Jumpstart 5. This is our 5th meeting, and it's so great to see so many people here. We're getting more and more people every time. I'm absolutely loving it. So for those who haven't been here before, Tech Jumpstart is a space that we wanted to create within the Silicon Brighton meetup scene, which Grace will tell you about in a minute. Designed specifically to create that sort of space for people who want to get into tech, who maybe don't want to go along to like some of the main meetups, feel a bit intimidated. There's people that like everyone knows everything and I don't, and all that sort of stuff. That's fine, and it's absolutely fine to be a complete novice and beginner at tech, and that's why we're here, so that you can meet other people who are in a similar position, or maybe were in your position and have been learning, or have just finished a course and want to get into a job. And so we want to both allow you a space to meet with each other and talk, but also to meet professionals who are working and have progressed in their career in here from them as well. So I will introduce you to our panel now, and then I'll just tell you a little bit. There's just some stuff from, actually, I'll do the Silicon Brighton stuff first. Hold on. Grace, did you want to do Silicon Brighton? Shall I do it? Okay.
I think that's the first time I nearly had to skip over some people to the stage. That would have been a well-dramatic entrance. Hi everyone, I'm Grace and I'm the co-founder of Silicon Brighton, and our mission is really to put Brighton and the South East on the map as being a digital hotspot. So that's our why, and how we do that is through supporting the local meetup community. So Tech Jumpstart is an awesome meetup, but it's one of about 30 different groups that all take place across the city, and they are all free to join. They're all free and available to people at every level. As Dan said, I know it can be intimidating if you're just getting into the industry, just starting out, thinking about switching careers, but absolutely everyone is welcome. And all the events are live streamed as well. So if for whatever reason you can't make it, or you're based elsewhere at the time, you just don't feel like coming, you can always jump online as well, or view everything on YouTube afterwards. So the idea behind all of this is that we make all of the meetups, the event program, and getting into the industry as accessible as possible. A couple of extra slides. There we go. That's just a group of all the meetups that we support. So just to give you an idea of the real breadth of digital skills available to get into within the industry, there are lots of different groups. So please check them out, and also tell your friends about them. Tell other people that this is happening, and there's an amazing group of people wanting to come together, meet others, maybe find mentors, a way to get in the industry, think about potential employers, even think about a co-working space that you might want to come to work in future. And on again, please. These are our supporters. So a massive thank you to all the local businesses who contribute to us financially every month to fund the work that we do, so that the support that we offer to the meetup groups themselves can continue to be free. And Silicon Brighton needs you. So perhaps you are part of a business or run a business or know of a business that might want to in some way partner with us, support us, sponsor us. You may want to volunteer at future events, helping to host or organise them, or take a bit of the meetup admin on you. You might have a topic for a talk or some sort of theme that you want to speak around. Or again, maybe you know other people as well that you can recommend and put forward. If any of those sort of jobs or initiatives interest you, then you can speak to me, come up and approach me today. Or if you don't want to, you can connect with me on LinkedIn or via email afterwards. I'm just grace@siliconbrighton.com, or I'm Grace Pryor on LinkedIn. These are our values. I won't read them all out, but basically every group that we're a part of or partner with or support, every co-working space, everyone who comes to our event, every business that supports us, we do seek people who align with our values. If for whatever reason you ever come across anyone who you don't feel represents these, or it makes you feel uncomfortable in any way, then please do let us know, and we will immediately address that. Follow us on socials. It's great to meet in person. It's also really good to connect online afterwards. We're on all the usual channels. I won't read out the logos. They're pretty familiar to everyone by now. But yeah, we've got a really active community, both online and also on our Slack group as well, coming up on the next slide. So yeah, join there. There's about 3,000 people on it. So it's quite an active group. You can introduce yourself, do shout outs, ask for help, connect with someone after the event and just chat to them. So please do continue the conversation in between these events. That'd be amazing. Yeah, we will post the link as well. Dan will do a follow-up message for anyone who didn't quite catch the QR code. These are some upcoming events. So again, just to give you an idea of the real sort of mix of events that we put on, we've got Brighton Blockchain coming up on the 6th of March. There's Async, so that's a JavaScript group on the 7th. Ladies That UX is doing a collab with CodeBar, and that's on the 12th. And then PHP Sussex is coming up on the 13th of March. So again, there's an events calendar on our website. There's also the list of all the groups that we support. Please just check them out and join any that you're interested in. We'd love to see you. And join the meetup page. I imagine if you come to this tonight, you're already a member of Tech Jumpstart, but if you're not, please join the group. You'll get notified of all the events and good stuff happening. You'll get messages from Dan as well. And yeah, just keep coming to these, please. And then that's it. I think we'll also just do a really quick thank you to the Works Group who have hosted us for free this evening. So another big sort of supporter and partner of ours. And I'm just going to hand over to Martin to speak for what he's disappeared. He is coming forward. Martin basically runs the space that we're in tonight. So he's just going to say a quick hello and an intro about the space that you're in. Caught you off guard there.
Hi, everybody. I'm not going to speak for very long, but I'm first of all really pleased to see you all here. This is the Works. We have 7 buildings, of which this one is our biggest. We have co-working at 3 buildings, which you can literally come along and just join in with. I think it's £5 for half day and £10 for a day, so it's quite simple. We do everything from offices to music studios, and we work with everybody from artists right the way through to producers and online digital companies. So I hope this evening is going to be a really interesting event, and I hope you really enjoy it. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. And just to introduce also that our Tech Native is the organisation that I lead. And we are co-hosts of Tech Jumpstart. I co-host it with James. Unfortunately, he's not very well today, so he can't be here. From a company called Zuvu, and we arrange these and co-host these together. Just a bit about Tech Native, that our whole mission is to close the tech skills gap, which means getting more people into tech careers, working with businesses to help businesses bring on more diverse teams, develop more diverse teams, develop their own talent. We work with schools and colleges to help them improve what they're doing and deliver better curriculum and better meet the needs of the tech sector, essentially. We're running we lead a full stack developer bootcamp, have a couple of our boot campers at the front here, Nico and Jonah. And we're launching, that's our first bootcamp. And it's starting in March, and we'll have another one starting in August. So if anyone in here is interested, please come and speak to me. Another QR code there, we'll post them out. So if you want to go to the website, there's all the information there, and you can register for the next boot camp if you're interested. Actually, just to say as well, on the Silicon Brighton side of things, I would encourage you to follow up on all those meetups. It's really unique that you get all these opportunities completely for free. And I don't know anywhere else in the UK that this happens. All these meetups are run by volunteers, and the whole thing works from a sort of community ground level. So you'll meet some great people, and you'll get a load of great insights and network and everything else that you need. So I'd encourage you to go along to them. Now, finally, our panel for the evening. So I'd like to welcome you all to us. I wonder if all of our panel here are all working data in some shape or form, and we want to unpick a little bit about what that actually means. So could each of you guys please introduce yourself and just say a little bit about your role and what your involvement in data is in your role?
Hi, everybody. My name is Baravalle. I'm the principal product data analyst at On the Beach. On the Beach is a travel company. I've worked for many years in academia, about 18 years in academia. At about 6 years ago, I moved to the private sector. I worked first in cloud technologies, and then I moved to data analytics. In my day job, I work with tens of millions of data points, and I try to give insights to the business based on what I see in the data. And that's me.
Hi, everyone. I'm Laura. I work at Datacove, and I'm a data scientist. We are a data and analytics consultancy, and we help businesses and our clients understand their data. So we do customer analytics, so that's like segmentation models, or we do marketing analytics, that's econometric models like mixed media modeling to see if campaigns are effective, and we do a bit of automation as well. I've been working there 1.5 years. I've been coding 2 years. Prior to that, I was a maths teacher. So there is life past, careers if it's not for you. So yeah, there's always ways. So I taught myself to code and did, it was hard work, but found coding and data analytics and was just like, yeah, this is amazing. And it is. So it's good that you're here.
Hey everyone, my name is Dan. I work at a company called Measurelab, and I am an analytics consultant, which is a very vague term. You'll hear the word analytics and data thrown interchangeably around for the next couple of hours, I'm sure. I predominantly work with marketing teams to help them understand how to use data to activate their data in terms of marketing strategies, audiences, understanding the success of them, and ultimately being a bit more ethical and deliberate with their marketing strategies. I just work in this I always say that I work in the marketing space. I also call myself an analyst. I also call myself an analytics consultant. But ultimately, it's just using data for some reason. That reason happens to be marketing in my case.
Hi, my name's Andrew Jeavons, one of the founders of a company called Signoi. As you might tell from the grey hair, I go back a little bit of a long way. I think Dan said, what was it, punch cards to Python. So my formal qualifications in computing was a 4-day Fortran course for using punch cards. I never really did anything after that, self-taught. Did C. The last real job I had was running a survey software company based out on the west coast of America. And since coming back to England, I started this company called Signoi. We specialize in data analytics for the market research, advertising, and some social media companies. We look at text and image analytics and specialize in quantitative semiotics. And if you can explain what that is, please tell me.
Thank you. So we're not going to spend too long in this format, in this sort of panel format. What we're going to do in a minute is move off into tables where we're going to, you guys are going to get a chance to talk to these guys and ask a load of questions and find out more. But I wonder if you could just give us an overview of what sort of skills you feel have allowed you to be successful and progress in your career, or in another way, what are the important skills or aptitudes, slightly different things, that help someone be successful in a career in data?
Well, that's a very good question. I've been working in the technology field for a long while, but I've been doing very different things. I started as a web developer, and I'm working now as a data analyst. In terms of programming languages, I started with JavaScript, PHP. In the years, I did a bit of C, Perl, for whoever remembers what it is. And now R for a bit, but just a little bit, SAS, and lately Python. I don't think that there are many routes into data. That's what I believe. And at the end of the day, it's about trying to do something that you like, if that makes sense. In terms of my stack today, I typically work with Python and Spark. And in terms of routes into data, I would say data today is a very open discipline. UK requires a lot of people to come and work into data. There are all companies have openings in data, so I would say that the doors are open for different types of CVs.
Well, as I say, almost 2 years ago or just over, I had never coded before in my life, but I seem to be doing okay. Hopefully my boss is in the front row, so we'll see if he nods. But I come from a background of problem solving, of mathematical thinking, of, being open and questioning. And I think all of those skills have really helped me, because anyone can code, hopefully. That's something you can teach yourself. You can learn, you can follow tutorials, you can take courses, you can learn the basics of it. But it's what you do with it. Why are you looking at this data? What are you going to get out of it? How can you then describe that personably and not in a tech-only language to people who don't understand the data, so you've got to have all those soft skills, but those are so important. There's so many other things that come along with it. Data can be taught, so I think it's really important to come at it from that kind of angle.
I think I've forgotten more coding languages than I remember. But yeah, I completely agree. I think everything can be taught. You can't possibly learn everything you need for a role, like especially in the world of data. It changes all the time. Like as well, like you can study for years on a programming language or a methodology or a tool set, and then you realize that that's redundant the next week, and then all of a sudden you're like, what the hell do I do next? I think you mentioned something which I would echo, which is just the why you're doing this. It's not how or what, it's why. It's interesting stepping back from a lot of stuff. I've been, in that world of data for over 10 years, and the amount of people that don't ask themselves why they're doing something is incredible. And, taking that problem solving, logical thinking approaches to things is the things that you struggle to find, and you can't really teach that well, or you can, it just takes longer. I would suggest that if anyone's thinking, I need to learn X, Y, or Z before getting a job, I would suggest the other way around. Most companies you work for will teach you what you need to know on the job. It's those, and again, I hate that terminology, softer skills, but it's that kind of like the communication. Can you translate something you're doing in data to someone that doesn't understand that? How do you approach that? How do you visualize data? You know, all these other things that come out of, you know, it's not the tech, it's the why, and what does it mean, and what are you going to do with it? Anyway, so yeah, in terms of what you're saying, skill sets and stuff, it's about communication and asking the question why, and rather than any specific language necessarily, or programming or coding.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they about covered everything. I think the cliched self-starter stuff. I mean, I taught myself Fortran, the memorable 6502 assembly language, mostly taught on learned on the tube. I seem to remember. C, Python. I mean, I think a willingness to do that, you know, and there's plenty of resources now. So, you know, you just want to do that. The soft skills, it's very true. And I think sheer bloody minded persistence will get you a long way. You know, if you're the kind of person who hammers away at a problem till you've fixed it, then, you know, you're going to do pretty well in the tech world. And I think that's something that's really important.
Thank you. What I find interesting is that this happens often when we ask a group of tech professionals about the skills to be successful. No one actually talks about the technical skills in their answer, and time again, it's the soft skills, the people skills, communication, and so on. So it's really interesting that that's kind of top of pretty much all of your lists of what's helped you be successful. So that's actually we're gonna shift gears now into tables so that you can have a chat. This is the first time in this venue for us, so we're just working this out. We're a bit more finely tuned machine in spaces, but what we're going to do is we're going to split into 4 groups, one per panelist. There are tables. There's one at the back left, one at the back right. There's a sort of settee type thing over there with a table, and there's a table at the back. So I think there's about 35 guests, attendees about, so maybe 8 or 9 per table. If you can self-manage, orientate yourself in groups of kind of 8, 9 or 10. Yeah, Laura's a teacher. You can, not a teacher, no. Always a teacher, once a teacher. Yeah, if you can autonomously migrate to 4 tables, shift. Yeah, there we go. What's the data term for the self? Yeah, into those 4 groups. Then these guys will come and join you. It's important to say this table at the back here is going to be on the webcast. If you don't want to be on the webcast, don't sit on that table because you will be. So. Yeah, whoever likes being on screen, go over there. And then these guys are going to come around. Actually, hold on, wait, a bit more information. Sorry, hold on. I'm going to give you a bit of paper on each table, and you can tell I used to run a college. There's 4 questions that I want you. I'll leave them up on the screen. So this is to help facilitate your conversation. Someone please scribble down and scribe. It's really important. Write it down, and then we'll take a picture of these bits of paper with all this amazing insight. So what different career routes or jobs are there? What are the key skills and attributes I need to be successful? We've just had a talk about that. What are the emerging trends and future developments in data? Hello, AI. And what are the challenges and barriers to career progression? So what do you feel is stopping you like doing this now, and how can you overcome it? So if you can cover those 4 areas, if someone can take a pen on each table and be the scribe, please. Right, go. I forgot to mention you got about 10 minutes per speaker, so I will call when it's time. So pens, paper, yeah. Sorry, Andres.
Random questions, go ahead. I'll start talking about
it's obviously it's expanded quite a lot because it seems to we just happen to go. Obviously the internet.
I can see the question. Think about the radiator. Nice warm. I'm left-handed. I should not be scribing. I can happy to scribe, but excellent. Okay.
I can tag team if you're on the.
Perfect.
We'll get it between us.
We want to divide it into four. We've got 4 bits of paper.
no, you've only got one bit.
Okay, yeah, divide it into 4. Into 5.
Or half it and front and back it.
I think because they're going to
Oh,
one
one
sheet
picture.
with everything in the end. Yeah. I'm cheating because I've been to one of these before. So
That's right. Insider knowledge always helps. There we go. Okay.
Do you guys want to introduce yourself? Does it make sense so that we know who we're talking to?
Well, I'm Ambrose. No worries if you forget my name. I'm going to forget everyone else's name as well. I'm bad at them, so just say or you. That's fine. Yeah, I'm Ambrose. Hello. Not at all. I'm completely new to all this, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So, yeah, we got this.
Hi, I'm Joe. I'm on the first Tech Native Bootcamp.
Excited.
Yay. Wonderful. Yes, I'm Joe. I'm on the first Tech Native Bootcamp. I've got a little bit of very self-taught experience in data, just as a project manager in the charity sector, kind of feeling my way as I went along to give the reports that I needed.
Yeah. I'm Yogesh Sadashivam, and I'm currently doing Masters in AI in University of Sussex. And this is first time I'm coming in over here.
Hi all, my name is Tanu. So I'm doing my Masters in AI currently with Sussex University. So previously I have data science masters as well. And I work back here in UK as an intern for Slaters and Gordon Solicitors Company. So currently I'm just trying to figure out myself with the AI field with a new job. So I'm here today. Thank you.
Hi everyone, myself Aditya, and I'm pursuing my masters in AI, same like university. Yeah. I've done my previous internship experiences in data analytics. So now I want to venture into machine learning and ML ops.
Yeah.
Hello, hi there. I'm myself Ranjit. I just graduated in Masters in AI and Robotics.
Sussex University?
No, I'm from Hertfordshire. Okay. I just completed a Masters recently. So I'm trying to look the job perspective in every spectrum. So I'm now interested in data. So this is the first field that is going to get me landed somewhere. So I just want to get in here. Thank you so much.
I'm Pete. I've got a degree in media studies. I have been a professional web developer for nearly 20 years, and I'm going to help run the Tech Native Bootcamp. And so I'm here to just to spectate and maybe help out a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah, hi. This is Ramesh here, and I'm a master's student at Sussex.
Okay.
So basically from data science background. I have around 3 years of experience in IT. I work in my ex company was like Deloitte. So I was working over there as a Salesforce developer. So right now we're here to explore more on the internships, sort of that in a data sort of things. That's it.
I'm Nigel. I'm a teacher. I teach maths and computing. I'm fed up with teaching like every teacher. I've got to escape. I had a shit day today. Delighted to be here. I did a course in lockdown in data science. It seemed to cover half of what I would do in a master's for £10 as opposed to 10 grand.
Hey, hi everybody. Just repeating myself, Andres Baravalle. I work at On the Beach. I'm a data analyst. So, when you think at data jobs, what have you got in mind? What do you think at? Maths. Okay. Why don't we start putting down things and then we see what everybody thinks.
Statistics.
Grab the mic. Grab the mic.
Data distribution, data like manipulation, everything. Data.
Ambrose, this is impressive.
Deriving insights.
It's nothing working. Data analytics.
Insights.
What do you guys think when you say insights?
Oh, okay. It's using that data, so insights, it can help you to see where trends are, and kind of predict where things will be going. So for example, when I was project managing, I could use the data that I was getting through from the clients I was working with, and I could spot that I was mainly working with clients who were a certain English level, and actually that their journeys were a lot slower. They were on the books for a lot longer, so I could start then anticipating the needs, what I would need to do with the rest of the service. So it then helped me to kind of plan going forward what I'd need.
So adding to it, it's like we can also know the factors or the features that are influencing the outcomes. Say, for example, like if there are some cases or the incidences that we are looking, so we can find what are the features that are affecting.
There's something missing. What else have we got? What else have we got in terms of data jobs or data skills? I think that there's at least one thing missing here. Visualization, so more than one. And storytelling. Yeah. So we have kind of the machine learning cluster around here, isn't it? We have analytics and insights, visualization. Nobody wants to be a data engineer. Moving data from A to B. And what did we have cleaning somewhere? Cleaning, which I would link somewhere here probably. What else?
Consultant, data consultant.
Data consultant, of course, which is probably a cross, isn't it? Because you can consult in any of the disciplines. What else is missing?
No one's mentioned AI yet. I suppose it comes out of the machine learning side.
Yeah, it's in close to that, isn't it? If you think at very large data projects, what do you think you would also need apart from all these people?
Well, I suppose we really see
Somewhere how to promote the data or the source.
Which would
like
our nice friendly data engineer will do that for us.
Okay.
The coding language and the software that you're using itself.
Those are very good points.
Project managers, tying it all together.
If you're lucky, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Product people. Work them here. So if you think at a project, say, with millions of data points that you have to analyze every day, these data points have to be pulled from somewhere, lowered it into the data platform, and then kind of end up at the end of the funnel into visualization. What else do you need beside all these people?
Subjects.
Sorry? Deploying, and who decides, who prepares the platform for that?
Software developers of any.
No.
We want data architects, right?
Yeah.
So we also want data architects that prepare the architecture that will then be used by. We're not going to let software engineers touch this stuff. Anything else that is missing in terms of jobs? Somebody mentioned product, right? Did we write it down?
Nope.
Trainer.
Sorry?
Trainer.
Trainer. Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah. All jobs. What about the roots? So five of you have just finished a master. So I guess pursuing. Final semester. So clearly you have a route in mind. Other routes?
You got. Ooh. Okay.
Everyone's going to stay. The panel's going to move.
Cool. Software development or I forget words. Software development.
Other books?
Are we talking routes in or like?
Routes in. I mean, other jobs that are related, where you are basically doing a data job without data in your title.
Data engineer.
We got them somewhere.
Okay. A scientist.
Scientists. All STEM professionals are basically, or most STEM professionals at the end of the day can easily transition into a data job. That's what STEM professionals are doing. If you are a chemist, a biologist, you're working with more data in one day with more database.
Any data management tools, like they do give permissions to access only certain kinds of data.
Database, yes. Yeah, that's who forgot.
I remember going to a talk a couple of years ago, and a recruiter said they would always give a job to an astrophysicist because they're so good at finding a signal in a very with so much noise, and a professional gambler.
Oh wow!
Right time.
I like that. That's good. I think we also forgot business intelligence people, didn't we?
Sorry, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Now everyone stay where you are, Laura. Yeah.
Small on there.
Yeah. Key skills and attributes.
Oh, that's good. So we're going to get another expert.
This way.
Good writing. That was phenomenally quick.
Can't promise half of it spelled correctly.
I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't have been able to keep up with that at all.
That's
Can you make sure everyone holds the mic? Oh, it's just, this is the web.
yeah.
What are the key skills and attributes needed to be successful? And how can I develop them? It's a question off the top of my head.
Well, that's a very interesting question that we haven't heard before, of course. Thank you so much. Well, you know, as we were talking about when the panel was up there, usually when you get a data set, it's very often somebody else's data. You know, most of the time you didn't collect it, right? It's the client, external or internal client, and they have a specific set of needs or questions they want asked. Some of them answered, some of them may be reasonable, some of them are very often unreasonable. And you've got to deal with their expectations. You've got to tell them, you know, like, this isn't magic, it's not going to tell you X. You know, you've got to be able to explain that. So the dreaded soft skills really do come in, because unlike, say, a software developer very often who, you know, sits in the corner and beavers away and has a spec, and, you know, when you've written the spec, you're done. Data analysts can be very much more interactive when it comes to the clients that you have. So, and, you know, one thing that, you know, I had to develop as I moved more from programming into data analytics was, you know, softer skills. You know, nobody likes an annoying consultant, you know, be personable, bring donuts in the morning, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but it does work. And I think, as I said, I think wanting to solve a problem, you know, wanting to be having determination to get to the bottom of something, particularly with data, you know, particularly when you see maybe something weird in the data, and it's like, well, is my analysis wrong? Is the data weird? Is there something I have to do to the data before I can analyze it properly? All that kind of stuff's important.
So we've got another one. So we've looked at sort of data jobs and kind of routes into, and it's all been very, very STEM based. And yet actually a lot of the key skills and things are soft skills. So do you think there's any space for routes for people from artistic backgrounds who haven't necessarily done STEM, and how actually that would translate across?
I think there are, because oh God, sorry. I think there is perhaps a perception that data analytics is very mathematical. It isn't necessarily so. It can be very statistical, but statistics aren't mathematics necessarily. You know, one of the first things I was taught when I worked in medical statistics was plot the data, look at it, see what patterns there are in it. You know, try and, you know, it all sounds a bit touchy, but try and get a feel for what's going on in there. Well, you don't need to have a degree in mathematics to do that, you know. And being able to represent and present the data is pretty important. You know, there are, if you're a consultant who can stand up and communicate and can write well, you know, you're gonna do well, even if maybe you don't have a, you know, I don't have a master's degree in anything mathematical, you know. I did psychology and neuropsychology, and psychologists do a lot of stats, but that was how I got into it. You know, it wasn't because I did maths or anything, you know. So yeah, I think that there is a role, and often on the communication side.
I suppose there are also hard skills which are important. So, of course, I suppose a lot of the jobs I see online are saying, oh, we'll have a trainee as long as you know X, Y, and Z, these things, all of these stuff. And yeah, entry level, don't worry. So I suppose there is a need for the hard skills as well. So is that something which I suppose...
Well, yeah, this is something that's a bit annoying, because they'll make this big long list of, you know, must know this language, that language. And I'm looking at it going, well, crap, I don't know half of those, you know. I ain't ever going to get a job as an entry-level data analyst, you know, looking at that lot, you know. And that's a problem. So I wouldn't be too daunted by it. I mean, people put up a massive wish list. It's like, well, I don't know if when you're in software development, you say, you know, 3 years this and 5 years that. It's like, how old are you? 67 when you apply for this job to have had all this combined, you know, experience? Yeah, they will put those lists up. But, you know, I always say, you know, people want to employ personable people they can get along with. You can be taught skills, But going back to if you're annoying, nobody's going to give you a job. I don't care what it is. So, if you can go in and be, look intelligent and charming, which was never my strong point, you will get there. And don't be put off by the laundry list of skills. Nobody ever has all those skills. I was looking at something the other day and I'm thinking, I don't really believe anybody's got all that skill set. It just is impossible.
Why do you think companies persist in doing the long list? Because it puts off a lot of minorities. I run Code Bar, free coding workshops for underrepresented groups, and we have a lot of discussions. Oh my God, I couldn't possibly apply for that. I only tick 3 or 4 boxes. And we know for a fact that confident, middle-class, white, straight, able-bodied men will apply if they tick 3 out of 10 boxes and just have a go because they're entitled.
Oh, yeah. I think that's very true. I think it's greed on the part of the companies, quite simply. They want as much as they can get for the money. And hey, maybe, the golden programmer will drop in their lap. But I think it is greed, essentially. Sorry?
Oh, yeah. That's the last one.
Jumping ahead. Yeah, we're jumping ahead. Too eager.
Wow. That's all right. Well, barriers are,
barriers, yeah.
Ridiculous expectations of employers, which is very true.
Yeah.
Where are we now?
Yes.
I got lost now.
Yeah, go for it. I hear a lot of people saying team working is really important, and if you're self-taught, it's really difficult to demonstrate that. I can demonstrate teamwork in other fields, but in terms of working on a data team, I'm stuffed.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, if you're going for an entry-level position, they don't expect you to have experience on a data team. Otherwise, why are you going for an entry-level job? I mean, I think the thing is if you can show, say, a project that you've done yourself, which shows that you can write things down and go from A to B, and that's good. But also, as you say, teamwork in another example. But in the end, if I'm hiring somebody, I'm actually looking for sort of, can I work with this person and can they be taught?
Yeah.
And that's a bit more important than the teamwork, to be honest.
Sorry.
No, I was going to pass you the mic.
As a recruiter, what do you like? As a if I'm applying for an entry-level job, what do you exactly look at the skills, from your perspective?
I think curiosity is really important. Is the person really interested in something? Did they go and find out all about, I don't know, something about the company that they're applying for? Do they show that they really like to dig into things? That's really important, particularly because, the technical world, data being one of the things change. And if you're not kind of trying to keep up, you're going to get left behind and you're not going to be that useful. So I think that's one part of things. If you just want to keep your skill set the same, that's going to be difficult. You're not really going to get very far. I'm not saying you have to do a master's degree every 3 years, but there are YouTube videos. You can keep going.
You learn how to learn.
Yeah, right.
That's the key thing. You don't, like you say, there technologies change, so you don't learn a set of technologies. You learn how to keep the skills of today.
No, very true.
Do you think large language models are useful for learning, or is it just it does my homework for me?
Well, here's my little spiel about R, which is a statistical language. You probably all know about that. I don't really know R, but if I have a R Studio open over here and GPT-4 over there, I can get through it and do what I need to do. So, yeah, I mean, it's a mixture. It did teach me things, but it also did my homework for me, and I have no guilt about that. I achieved the aim, which is ultimately is what's important.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do this little... Impressive writing, yeah.
If you need me to just elbow me, your handwriting is a lot better.
I see if you're writing it will be page first, we should go for the other side as well.
Where's the drone? Hello!
Hello. Oh shit!
Hello.
Hello. I'm Dan. Nice to see you again, more close and personal. Should we go through questions? I feel like I'm a seasoned pro at this now.
To give you a rundown of what we've done so far, we've kind of approached basically a question with each.
Oh shit! Yeah, go for
There's
it.
been a little bit of crossover, but so we're kind of now down at emerging trends.
Okay.
So kind of at trends and future developments that you think you could see. So a lot of our data jobs and routes in, we're all very kind of STEM, maths kind of based, and a lot of the key skills were very transferable, and
Yeah. So can I go back to the first one then and add more to this? So just for some context, I studied maths at university, but as soon as I finished, I forgot everything I ever learned and did. I don't know what my thesis was about. I can't tell you. I don't have a copy of it. I basically moved to Brighton to study, and then realized Brighton's a cool place to be, and then stopped studying as much. So anyway, the point is, let me give you some context. So like, I work at an analytics consultancy. I mentioned before it's in the data sphere, but it's the marketing sphere, but it's kind of data marketing data. Our head of engineering was a nurse. Our head of kind of client services and analyst really never went to university. A guy I spoke to the other week who heads up marketing in this multinational company was studied film and wanted to become a film director. But the point is there's no right way into this because the key thing about data's not a job, data's not a career. There's no career in data because data's in service of something else. The data is a service industry. So the thing I'm in service of is marketing. So people spend money with me, but I don't make the money. I make the marketers make money. And so what I do is provide better quality, ethically consented data so they can do marketing better. They can make more money. They can save money effectively. They can target better messaging. They can personalize experiences, which then makes the money. But and it's an infinite debate in the world of data is how do you measure revenue? How do you measure return on investment for analytics or data? You can't, it's impossible. Like everyone has an idea, but it's always fucking impossible. The point is there's no right way into data and data's not a job or an industry. So all I've been suggesting to the last couple of tables is in terms of access points, is about find the industry and the thing you enjoy. So whether it's finance, whether it's video games, whether it's marketing, whether it's product or personalization or anything, find out. There's data-related roles in all those careers, right? But data is not a career. You can't find a job in data and then be like, oh shit, my next job's in marketing and the next one's in product, because what you need is that context of the industry you're in. So like, I'm not a huge fan of marketing, but I spent my career learning it and I understand how it works and understand all the different marketing channels and the nuances and things like GDPR and ethics and stuff in marketing because it makes me do my job, which is data, better. I can't jump between gaming to marketing to product to like that and be any use to anyone because, yeah, I can do data share, but that's not useful. Like I said, data is not a product or an industry. So, sorry, I just wanted to track back on that because it doesn't matter what you study, if you study at all. Find like that industry you like, preferably something you're passionate about or interested in, because ideally you would invest your knowledge in that industry rather than the data stuff. And people find and fall into data. Like people are like, I'll start as like a marketer, and it's like, oh, someone has to do the data, fine, it will be me. Oh, this is quite cool, you know, like, and they kind of end up going down that path. If you're studying and you're going on that path to be on data now, which is incredible, a lot of people didn't get that opportunity even 5-10 years ago. All I suggest is just think about technical skills can always be learned and they always change and you'll never complete it. Yeah, you'll never learn a language enough to be done tomorrow. Tomorrow it will change, they'll release something new. So what I suggest is find the industry. What value will you add to an organization? Not as a kind of a cultural fit or blah, 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 all that kind of shit. It's more like doing data for this team and this company is going to benefit the company because, and that's the hard thing. That's really hard. So I suggest finding an industry you kind of fancy yourself in, like, oh, I really into gaming. So let's go find, Brighton's got a bunch of gaming studios, right? So let's go to one of those gaming meetups and find a bunch of data people there. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way in. But in terms of the emerging trends, a lot of stuff's going to be easier with generative AI, like coding. Like coding is people say coding's a thing of the past. Of course, we're going to need to code, but there's going to be tools to learn it easier. You don't need to learn it as well, because there's going to be like, I can start with, it's kind of like when spell check came in. You know, it's like, I don't need to learn how to spell anymore. I get the same fucking spell check line on every time I spell every word, and I've never learned it. I don't know SQL, but I use SQL. But I work with clever people. I know how to use Google, and I got ChatGPT. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm fine. So with this kind of emerging trends, I would say like the trends would be related to the industry that you are in. So like in the marketing space, the trend is privacy, and the fact that you need to get consent to do a lot of stuff. So how do you continue to do one-to-one marketing without knowing who that person is? Now, that's the shit that's emerging and trending, and the technology that's springing up around that is what I'm learning and developing in. Most of it's SQL-based, so I'll just stay with that. Like, it's not going to be a brand new coding language or a brand new career development for me. So yeah, again, like generative AI or AI in general, analytics data, they're all service industries. So yeah, I've talked a lot. Maybe lost some viewer count at the moment. Where are you? Yeah, sorry. You over there.
You said about like having a domain knowledge,
Yeah.
going for it. If you are choosing some industry, having some domain knowledge on that, so it will be helpful, right? So how do you think like we can get it? So as I'm still pursuing in a master's, so how do you think we can get the domain knowledge? So before going to that industry,
It's curiosity is the key thing, and it's a bit of a kind of a generic kind of catch-all term, but like so like, being involved in the industry, learn about it, like learn beyond the technicalities, right? So like, again, I can only talk to marketing. If I was to do my career again, I'd go into video games. I keep using that as an example. I'm a gamer. I'm not like a crazy hardcore gamer, but I love it. I've built a couple of games. In lockdown, I learned how to use Unity and built a couple of apps and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I can apply my job to that. I just don't know enough about the industry. And so, absorb yourself in like podcasts, blogs, newsletters, go to meetups like they've got up there for all these different things. And then like work with people that can get you in, or to find out what a data job in that industry is like, because you can't have experience before you have experience. Like, and I know it's that's the classic thing of getting jobs. But the thing is that you might not get a pure data job or an analytics job. And so, for example, they might need they might call it something different in that industry. And so learn the lingo, the terminology they use there. So like, what does analyst mean in a mobile gaming company? What does analyst mean in a finance company? They're going to be very different things, right? And the tools they use are different. And if you know some of the technology, you'll never be able to learn tech, right? Like, it's impossible. So like, but being aware of like, oh shit, yeah, so I follow this blog, and if you're having an interview or chatting to someone in a meetup, and I saw the big change in like, the big change in iOS last week. That's mad. What the fuck is that doing to your data? Like, how are you dealing with that? If anyone's got an iPhone, it's like the ATT pop-up, where it asks for consent. A couple of years ago, that came up for the first time. That changed everything in my industry, because all of a sudden it's like, shit, we need to ask permission to do this stuff now. And then all of a sudden everything stopped overnight, and Meta, Facebook, lost $10 billion that year. So that's it. I just read up about it and learn that stuff.
following up that, so think that you're in a equipment, a panel, you're a panelist something. So how do I prove that? Like I have some domain knowledge on that particular thing. So and how you get to know that? First of all, if my resume comes to your table, so how do you know that this guy owns that potential of
Put it on the resume.
Domain knowledge. Yeah.
Put it on there. I mean, do you know what's more important than your technical experience is where you've worked, what you've done, and what you like doing. And because I like the whole point is that. So if you were if I was interviewing you, so we hire people as most companies do, and the most important thing is not what you know, it's what you don't know, and also like if you're able to figure it out. So like learn one thing. This is the word I don't know, but I'll find out. Don't try and answer every question. Okay, thank you. Don't try and figure it out. If you don't know, just be like, sorry, if you don't know, just be like, oh, I don't know, sorry, cool, I haven't done that bit yet. I'll find out though. And if you can find out, like if you're just like if you get to a point where like, oh, I don't know the answer, and you struggle, that's the worst, because what you need to find out is like, can you figure out? Not everyone, we will always ask unfair questions to see how you react, right? And so with that on the CV, the most important part of when I look at CVs are, what do you like to do outside of work? What are your curiosities? What are your passions? Because if it's like I'm a career person and I'm going to be here for 1 to 2 years, I'm going to smash it, but then I'm out. That's great, cool. But I want to know that. If you're like, this is my life, I want to find my home, like there's a different thing. And it's like, and I think that's the thing, is like people succeed and people enjoy working around people that they are passionate with, like I've got passions that are different to yours, but they align with this world of data and we can figure it out. So just put it down on your CV. Be like, I love gaming. And if they ask you about that, or you ask questions, be like, oh man, I listen to every fucking podcast. I'm a shit gamer, but I like this side of it. And I'm interested in this. Like, know what you don't know. Like, be like, I don't know shit, but I'm well curious. And
that works maybe.
And put it on the resume. That's the other thing.
Thank you.
I like how you just talk about distinguishing yourself there as well. Just showing that you're a 3D rounded person and you've got hobbies and interests.
Well, they're human beings, as in, like, let's say I'm interviewing you. I'm a human being. You're a human being. Like, this isn't some kind of game we're playing. Like, we're two human beings having a conversation. Okay. So yeah, just remember that bit. And that's the interesting part. If I have a human personable conversation with someone, I'm going to remember that more than someone saying, yes, I worked there between this year, and I've got this experience, and I've learned how to do some ifs in Excel, and all that kind of stuff. So it's all about the person. And we use that term soft skill earlier, which I resent because it's the most important. It's like, are you a human being, and are you able to be fallible? Like, can you mess stuff up, figure it out, change your mind? Yeah. Sorry, I've rambled a lot, but this is the third one of these, and we're getting I love this. This is interesting. I hope you found it useful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I'll be around after.
Anyone else?
Bring me around.
Jeremy, make sure you use the mic. This is webcast.
Hello.
Don't forget to use
Okay, we will share.
It's gonna not be great.
Hi, everybody. Right. So there's two of us. I brought my boss along for support, for extra knowledge. So yeah, what can we help you with?
Question?
Yeah, so we've been keeping to that slide quite, because it's right in front of us. So we've been using it. So we've been with each person going through a different sector, different bits. So we're now moving on to the boundaries, although we've sort of mixed and jumped between them all. So I suppose we're going to be looking at what are the challenges and boundaries to career progression, and how can they be overcome?
The hardest question. Thanks for that, guys. What are the challenges and barriers to career progression? Yeah, I did actually.
So can I ask a question, actually? Because since you came from a teaching scenario into this, and you're relatively new into all of this, how did you find getting into this sector? Because from not coding at all 2 years ago to now where you are, that seems like there's a lot of barriers between that.
Can I also add a little bit to that?
Yeah.
And do you think your experiences as a woman have made any differences to that as well?
Okay, I'll do the first question. Huge amount of barriers not coming from a tech background, and faced a lot of rejection, a lot of just being completely ignored, just being, oh, she's just a teacher, and kind of that mentality. Maybe not everyone, but that's kind of how I possibly interpreted it through my own maybe unsureness and kind of, oh, I am just a teacher. Am I doing the right thing? But yeah, so I kind of taught myself to code, thought, yeah, I'll get in and do this. But I didn't have any connection. I didn't have any community to go to, and no job to, or someone to help me into the sphere. So I did find that really, really difficult. I made like a little portfolio, I kind of had my little website that I could showcase and stuff like that. But I'm sure you can tell I love to talk. So it was a case of if I could just talk and, if I could just get in front of someone, I'd be able to like sell myself and kind of get it all across. And it wasn't until I think I did like 58 applications for a job and just zip, nothing. I think 3 rejections, the rest were just completely ghosted, and I was so deflated. I know you know. It's so deflating, it's ridiculous. And it wasn't until a friend of a friend kind of went, oh, I think I know someone who might have a job going. And I met with Jeremy, and thankfully, the gift of the gab, you seem to be all right with it and kind of like what I was saying. And then I was able to then prove myself and go, look, I can do this and I can do this. And I come from things from a different background, and I have a different opinion of how to approach things, a different perspective, but actually that's maybe to the benefit. And I think then I was able to offer kind of slightly more than the traditional tech person could have done. As a woman, I don't know. I'm quite stubborn and determined, and I don't. I'll pretend I didn't see that. I don't know if any of the rejections were because I was a woman specifically. I think it was because I was a teacher, full stop. And it was kind of just like, oh, you're not even, what are you doing? A teacher trying to get into tech. That's ridiculous. I don't think I've had any, or maybe I'm just not aware of it. I'm pretty oblivious as well. So I was just like, I just kind of career forward. I don't think I've had any overt kind of barriers because of being a woman, but possibly when I first went to my first few meetups, I did feel a bit like, oh my goodness, I'm not supposed to be here. There's a lot of guys and there's very few women. And actually, over time, I realized, no, it's my community. I want to be here. You know, I've got to make it safe for everyone as well. So that's when we run our communities, we try and do that as well.
I don't even want to add to it. I was going to start to tackle that final question, but we'll let you ask a question anyway.
I just wanted to ask, were you Brighton based when you were still a teacher and learning and stuff?
Yeah, so I've kind of taught all over, but mostly in London, and then I moved down to Brighton and was doing that for a few years. I had like a 3 and a 4-year-old as well, so it was kind of like I was working part-time and I was teaching, and it was just all a bit much, and I just needed to get out. So when the kids got a little bit older, I was like, right, I'm just going to do this. So I was teaching, I was coming home, dealing with the kids, putting them to bed, planning lessons, marking, and then I thought, oh, let's do 2 hours of coding. And that was the bit I actually enjoyed in my day. It was kind of like, yay, this is awesome. Not that I don't enjoy the children. I love you children, if they're watching. Gosh, I love you, you're amazing, obviously. But it was kind of like, oh my goodness, this is so exciting. And I just got such joy from coding, and it just did what you wanted it to most of the time. And, you know, it opened so much opportunity and amazement, and oh look, I can do linear regression not with a pen and paper, you know, I can actually do it on a piece of, you know, code. So yeah,
I guess the reason for asking was because you mentioned about not having the community or the network. And so would you have come to something like this or CodeBar or Async or those sorts of things if you...
Do you know, I wish I had have, if I had known about them, but I had no idea. As I say, in education, you do not have anything like this. Like, I know my other teachers, but effectively I stood in my own classroom with my children and that was it. And I'd never stepped out of the classroom before. I'd gone to uni, but I was still in the classroom. So I'd never been out of the classroom. I'd never been in an office environment or anything like that. And it wasn't until a couple of months in the job, I ran my first meetup because we run Brighton Pi and Brighton R. And it was kind of like, oh my God, if only I had known about this community, because I would have come and like met people and introduced myself. And like, there's a Slack, there's a whole channel that's like, introduce yourself, and you can, like, people get jobs from that. And it's just, it would have really been a lot, hopefully, easier. But unfortunately, I didn't have a clue about it. And until you know about it, so now I'm all like, shout it from the roofs, get a community, you know, find people who will advocate for you. It is, yeah.
From the perspective of the people, like I helped run Async for years and I've been involved in CodeBar a tiny bit and other things, and we do try and shout about it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, that connection is just...
I wasn't looking in the right place, obviously. It didn't even occur to me.
Yeah, it's not... I guess it's not intentional, but we could definitely do more to promote it, I guess.
Hi, my first question is, why did you wanted to shift from teaching career to like in data field? First thing. Second thing, your experience is completely different, like currently for your coding and what you have worked before. So what was the impact of experience, like your previous experience, to the current role?
Cool, great questions. So I had just got a little bit bored of teaching. It sounds awful, but I'd been doing it 15 years. I'd been looking for the last few of those just for something else. I'd kind of been promoted enough that the next step up would have been headship, and I just wasn't interested. You know, I wanted to be with the maths. I didn't want to run a business and manage loads of people who didn't, you know, who were very grumpy. So I just didn't, I wanted to, and I was getting a bit grumpy. And I don't think teachers should be, I think as soon as you lose that love and enjoyment, you need to get out. You should not be a jaded teacher ever. So I was kind of getting to that point, and I just thought, oh, I need to get out, otherwise it's not great. And I looked at loads of careers. I was going to go into actuary, I was going to be an accountant, I was going to be HR, I was going to do marketing, I was going to do this. And I would like take an online course, you know, those free stuff that's on YouTube. 2 weeks in, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so bored. I cannot do this as a job. And then I discovered coding in Python, and I was like, oh, yes, this is it. Then it was just a complete light bulb moment where I was like, yes, I want to do this as a job. It's amazing. It's maths, but it's fun and it's excitement. And so it was a proper light bulb moment for me. At the beginning, I didn't realize how useful all my previous skills would be. So I was like almost trying to hide the fact I was a teacher. And my very first official CV, a non-teacher CV, I tried to not use the word teacher. And that was my personal challenge, that I would not be a teacher. I have come with transferable skills, and I can present, and I can do these. And actually, I think I shouldn't have been embarrassed about being a teacher. You know, it comes with all these other amazing skills and a kind of things that enhance me as as a data person. And it wasn't until I think I met Jeremy that you kind of made clear that loads of people can code. You know, there's people fighting over code jobs. So what sets you apart? You know, I was able to do these other things, like I can present like nothing. You know, put me in front of 1,000 people, I don't even blink. You know, it's what I'm used to. I'm used to explaining things that are really difficult concepts to people who don't care. You know, and a lot of our clients are not interested in the data as much. They just want to know the bottom line. So I think it's been really helpful for me to transition over. And then the data I continue to learn. But I will let Jeremy add to that, I think.
I will add the problem-solving aspect, because I think it is so often overlooked. When a client comes to us with a challenge, they say, look, that challenge might be, as an example, I need 100 more customers. You know, if we really want to crack this as a brand, we need 100 more customers a month. How are you going to find them? Where am I going to find them? What am I going to do to find them? And we will present them with a solution that says, here's how you could find 100 more customers. The bit in the middle where some coding takes place, they don't really care, to be quite honest. They don't care what you do. They don't care what language you use. They don't care what models you use and what skills you use. They want you to be able to explain the solution to the problem. So it is all about being able to explain it to people that don't get it. And Dan is telling me to stop talking. So I will stop talking, but I will happily take questions afterwards.
Thank you.
By the way, fantastic scribbling. Excellent scribbling. That is.
I've seen different approaches to that.
I'm going to stay here, yeah.
How's this going to work?
Sorry?
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Hello.
If everyone can just kind of plonk themselves back in loosely, squeeze in. Dan. Sorry, mate. You had some good chats. Right, can everyone come back in for the last 5? Oh, let me get the papers for you. Can someone pass me the paper that's on the table? And on that one. Look at this. Amazing. Can I have papers, and the one behind you as well? Can I have the one behind you? Sorry. Just grab that bit of paper that's on there. All right. I'll take one of them each just for reference. Okay. Right, we're nearly out of time. Can everyone just sit down for a couple of minutes? There were some really, really good conversations going on there, and I hope everyone got a lot out of that talking to these guys. I could hear some of it. Sorry. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for hosting those conversations. It would be great to just hear what your sort of key takeaways were. Dan, I heard the customer's always wrong. I like that. That's my key takeaway for the. Yeah, why not? Yeah, go.
There's nothing really to elaborate. The customer is always wrong. I think someone asked me the question around my role as a consultant, and often people come to me with a problem, and they're like, I need to do this thing. And then my job is to kind of helpfully explain to them that's not the thing they need. They need this other thing without telling them they're wrong. So it's a yes and. It's a yes, of course, we can do this forecasting model for you, but how about we can do this as well, or yes, we can look at doing this problem you think you need solved, but by the way, this is redundant now. You know, like there's always options. So yeah, the client, the customer's always wrong, but you don't tell them that, right? You can joke about it to your colleagues, but the reality is they pay, so they're never wrong in that context. But it's just about I think the term I used is they pay my salary, so you want to keep going with them and keep progressing them, and you've got an incentive to then help them progress, and we call it maturity, but it increase their maturity in the space of data or marketing in my case. And so the further we can get them to, the better we can get them to understand the perspective, the options, additional things they can do, the more they work with us. It's great.
Thank you. It'd be great just to get your thoughts on anything else that sort of came up for you that really hit home. What key takeaways?
I think it was quite interesting. In one of the groups, we talked about rather than kind of the things that you need to do a good job or towards to be a senior, what are the skills that you need for your very first jobs? Okay. And what I mentioned is, in my opinion, SQL is one of those. And I would add something else. Remember that in most job interviews, you're going to have a tech test. Okay. And if you don't pass the tech test, it doesn't matter anything else. So a bit of generic skills on the things that you're going to be asked, those are important. It doesn't matter if you're not going to use them at any other point, but they will come up in the tech test.
Can I add to that? I was at an event last night in London, and one of the, it was a doctor, a data scientist, a very intelligent person, and they work at a very big company, and they were explaining that when they had their interview, they asked them to do a SQL test, and she said no, and they gave her the job, and she's still there owning stuff. So yeah, again, just to echo that, the tech test that's because it's someone's great idea to be like, we should do a technical test, and most of the times it's a scenario that will never come up, and this person said no and is killing it. So there you go.
It's really amusing. I managed to miss SQL entirely. I still don't know anything about it whatsoever. So anybody out there who doesn't know SQL, there is hope. I think one of the things that kind of came to my mind talking to people is leveraging your vertical industry knowledge. So, you know, you work in a certain industry maybe at the moment, and that can help you either moving within the company, because that kind of knowledge can help. You know, if you understand about the kind of data that you're analyzing, that's always an advantage.
Someone asked me, what is data? Which was a little bit, really? Oh, there's so much out there, you know, what? But I think I came up with, it's like a murder mystery puzzle. You just have all this data and you have to look at it from different angles, you have to interpret it, you have to have ideas, and it's just solving a big puzzle. And then at the end, you have to be able to describe how you did it, why you did it, what the results were, and how you can catch the murderer. Yeah, so mine's not as technical as everyone else, but it's playing games, basically. It's having fun with data and solving the puzzle.
Thank you so much, guys. We're out of time. But there's been such great insight tonight and such great conversations that I overheard from everyone. If you want to carry on the conversation with someone you've met this evening and you want to carry on chatting, there is a pub next door. The Hot Poles is lovely. Feel free to go there en masse and continue the conversation. For now, Andrew, Dan, Laura, and Andres, thank you so much. A huge round of applause for our guests. And thank you to everyone who's come along and participated so positively tonight. Yeah, it makes it, you guys make it by your engagement and your sort of just wanting to know and wanting to ask questions. And I love the conversations that you'll have. So thank you to you guys as well. The next Tech Jumpstart, I should know the date. It's in April. It's intended to be on games and getting into the games industry and games development. We've got some good guests already getting lined up for that. So we will announce that as soon as it's all confirmed with all the details with a save the date. But for now, thank you to Silicon Brighton, Grace and Jared on AV. Thank you. And Maureen also for putting this together and providing free food and drinks, which is very important. Woo! So yeah, have a good evening, safe journey home in the rain and all that. And yeah, we'll see you in a couple of months. Thank you, guys.